Entrepreneurial Edge is brought to you by Business Banking from FNB, because small ideas can lead to big business. FNB, how can we help you?
Welcome back to the Entrepreneurial Edge. I'm Chris Bishop. Your feedback on this show is always appreciated, so please keep those emails coming to entrep@abn360.com. Now, still in the studio with me, I have George Argyropoulos, of the founder of Cruises International. So, just to kick off, George, you reckon maybe about 100,000 people here in South Africa alone take cruises. What are the main reasons why, apart from obviously holiday and getting away from everything, what are the main reasons why people go on cruises?
You know, wanting to take a holiday is probably the most important reason, and that's why you end up looking what options you have available. But if we look at the offering of cruising, first of all, it's an exceptionally good value for money package. From about $100 a day, you go on board a 4 or 5 star environment on a ship. That includes all your meals, it includes your accommodation, it includes the transportation by the ship to the various destinations, and all your activities and entertainment. And there's no way you can, with that budget, do something similar on land. Over and above that, you're probably going to waste more of your hard-earned holiday time transporting yourself from one place to the other.
But there is a kind of phobia about cruises. I mean, in particular as well, a lot of people think, well, a cruise, it means a lot of money. A cruise, it's for rich people only, it's not for me. How do you get over that when people just don't even think about it?
You know, I've been in this industry for over 20 years, and the message is still the same. And the hardest part of our business is to get someone to try a cruise for the first time, because there are certain objections and misconceptions about cruising, which I must say are getting less and less over time. Many more South Africans have been on cruises, they've talked to their friends, so a lot of them are already kind of been primed by friends and colleagues as to what to expect when they go on a cruise. But generally, that cruise is usually expensive, and it's not, and it's certainly not an elitist product. Yes, we do have some super luxurious ships where you need hundreds or if not thousands of dollars a day, but then we have the mass market, family-oriented cruise lines from about $100 a day. So price is not really an issue. Then that maybe the ships, there's not much to do, they can be a bit boring, and of course, you know, memories of the cruise ships and the liners from the past do bring that about, because there wasn't much in terms of entertainment, where now we have a full array of activities and entertainment on the ships. That maybe a cabin is smaller than a usual hotel room, and quite often it is, but not substantially smaller, and it's still very, very comfortable and has ample space for everything. That is older people.
And George, you're one of the few entrepreneurs we've had on this program, especially recently. You can say recession. What recession? You say that it's not worrying you at all. I mean, why is that?
Cruising is a recession-proof business. And I think when there is a recession, people need to escape even more so than in the good times, and kind of spend some time with their family or by themselves and relax and get away from the doom and gloom of everyday life and work life in particular. And because of the value for money that cruising offers and the convenience of it, and again, when you're in a recession, you want to see what will be the best proposal in financial terms. And I think that is where a cruise surpasses any other land-based holiday option.
I've got a report here that claims that you're saying that 40% year-on-year growth for figures here, but overall, the world industry, surely that must have been hit by a recession somewhere. What's your reading of it as someone who studies it?
You know, South Africa has been seen as a developing and growing market. So yes, we are not the trend globally. We've seen in the United States more than in Europe, with being a more mature market, a slowdown in the rate of growth, especially coupled with the recession. And this year we're experiencing something similar in Europe, where less people generally are traveling, and of course it's affecting the cruise industry.
And what about the economy, the land of your birth? A lot of people are talking about it at the moment. How healthy or otherwise is the cruise industry in Greece?
I was afraid you're going to get to that.
I'm sorry, it's got to be said. I'm sorry about that. How is it going?
You know, Greece has never been a particularly significant market as a source market for cruising. It's been more a destination for various cruise lines, and that is doing very well. There are hundreds of ships coming to Greece, as you can imagine, either operating within the Greek country, or they come from other places like Italy or Turkey, and of course they combine many other Mediterranean destinations. That's the nice thing about cruising. You can start a cruise in Rome and finish off in Istanbul, or visit Egypt, Israel, and Greece, and you see a lot of countries without having to pack and unpack.
What about the great emerging markets of the world, like the BRIC countries? I mean, India and China. What are you seeing coming out of there in terms of the cruise industry?
There is tremendous growth to the point where some of our cruise lines are now basing ships on a year-round basis in Asia and South America. India is growing, but still as a source market. More and more ships are visiting India as part maybe of a continental cruise or an Asian cruise, but there's not any cruise lines based in India at the moment.
And around the continent, are there more and more people looking at cruises, say from South Africa up north and west and east? What's happening there?
Yeah, unfortunately the offering is still very limited out of South Africa. We only have one cruise line who has a regular and very successful presence in South Africa. But there is talk, as more and more ships are being built and more destinations need to be visited and discovered in order to keep the repeat factor of the business quite high, which is about 35%. Invariably, we're going to see ships on a semi or permanent presence in the Southern African region.
And a lot of this industry is about communications and getting the information out. I mean, do you think that the cruise industry is selling itself hard enough? I mean, I'll be quite honest with you, apart from the adverts in the newspaper, I can't tell you anything, and I'm a journalist, but do you think people are informed enough about the industry?
Perhaps not. We would have liked to do much more. But it is growing, and especially now with electronic communication has made our life much easier in order to communicate the proposition of cruising.
And the future for your company? I mean, you said the first half you're turning over something like $17 million a year. I mean, do you see yourself listing? Do you see yourself growing in that way and becoming a larger corporate than you are? Is that possible?
I really wouldn't like to lose the entrepreneurial spirit of the business, and that includes me and all my colleagues. And there hasn't been a need really at this point to list. If we see that maybe the rates of growth exceed our capabilities and our needs for maybe growth capital becomes higher, then definitely, at the moment we're using our own funds to grow the business.
Are you looking at setting up in Nigeria, Ghana, East Africa?
Yes, at the moment we have a presence via the local travel agents in those countries, and it's growing very fast. I must say the business almost doubles on an annual basis out of Africa. So we're certainly looking to have more permanent and significant presence.
I have two more questions. Would you do it all again if you had the chance? No problem?
Absolutely.
And as an entrepreneur, are there any unfulfilled ambitions and dreams that you have, aside from Cruises International?
Well, on a personal level, I'd like to find the time to do a world cruise.
Oh, well, surely you've got the contacts for that.
I do have the contacts, but not the time. That's I say when you have money, you have no time. When you have time, you don't have money. So we have to find the balance.
So where would be the stops you'd take in then if you could do that? Find the time one day. Where would be your top 4 stops?
Well, usually world cruises start from United States, either from Miami or Los Angeles, and then they'll sail down South America. Across the Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, maybe Philippines, then go up to Southeast Asia, visiting maybe Vietnam and other Asian countries, and then go towards India through the Red Sea into Europe, or come down South Africa way and then go up South America and finish in Miami or something like that.
And last but not least, you have children. Do you see them coming into the business, taking over from you one day?
Well, already 2 of them. I got 4 children, so 2 of them have asked me if I would be terribly sad if they don't follow my footsteps. You know what? I started that business because it was something I wanted to do, and it was a subject that I love and interests me. I don't expect my children to have the same ambitions and interests that I had. I hope they have their own.
George Argyropoulos, the founder of Cruises International, thank you very much for your time on this show and for your insights into what is a fascinating industry. Thank you very much. That's a wrap of this edition of the Entrepreneurial Edge. Be sure to tune in again next week for another episode. Until then, from me, Chris Bishop, it's goodbye.